And then we look at some great heroes, and coming to mind immediately right now in the Republican Party and across the nation is Governor Brewer in Arizona, who stood up to the president. And I think these are wonderful examples. You know, I think back to the 80s and I think of Maggie Thatcher, you know, Iron Maggie Thatcher, who stood up. What a strong example of a woman who knew what she believed and knew what was right for the country and was willing to make the personal sacrifice to do what was right. And we need more people like that. And we see these examples of women coming forward. Sarah Palin, look at the attacks that were put onto Sarah Palin for daring to step out as a woman and to be a feminine woman in politics. She was just ridiculed. Her family was attacked. That was a great sacrifice. And those are the sorts of things that I'm talking about, that people have to be willing to face. I mean, that was about the bottom of the barrel. You can imagine what happened to her kids and her family and everything else. But she didn't go away. She didn't run away from it. She's continued to be active. And I think we have a lot of great examples. So where is the hope? We want to leave you with hope. And I think one of the things is that America is going through right now a political great awakening. People are waking up after a long slumber and saying, look what is happening to my country. And these are people who love this country, not people who hate it. Because we all hear examples of people, I believe, hate what America was founded on and want to remake it into something else. People are studying the Constitution and foundational documents. And many of you in this class might have taken some of the classes that were being offered. I think Gene Edmonds had a class in the Constitution. There were other people who were studying online, buying the books, reading these books once again, reading the documents, carrying pocket constitutions around with you. There is a Republican revival, and I know you all can feel it, and you know what I'm talking about, because again, the threat has come home. And so there are more and more people saying, if we look at the national polls and just given a blank ballot, who are we going to vote for, Republicans or Democrats? That number is swinging further and further to the Republican side. There are tea parties and protests and rallies in Washington, D.C. Again, these had been seated for many years to the left. And now there are conservative people who are willing to march locally and on Washington. And people have made it known that they're no longer willing to stand up and just watch America be socialized, which is exactly what's happening. They've told our congressmen, they've told the president, they're saying it in letters to the editor, they're telling their friends, they're putting the stickers on the cars, which I think is terrific. And if we look around, particularly at the young people, I look at my family, Joe's family, and many of you, your children and grandchildren, look into their faces and see hope for the future, because they understand and they're being taught to love this country and why it's important to do so. And so we want to keep that picture, I think, of the young people in mind, because after all, we will not be here forever. That's who we're going to be handing off to, and that's really the most important thing to me when I think about the future of America, is the future that my children and your children will inherit.